welcome back to Straight Facts. I nearly coughed them right at the start. We're fine, nearly coughed. Lee Gunner joins me. Lots to delve into today. New intro as well. What do you think of the new intro?
Yeah, it was nice, man. Very nice. I was getting in the groove, and then you just put me on the screen.
They just stopped. Yeah, it's a very abrupt ending.
That's nice though, man. The shorter the better, short and sweet.
Yeah, it gets it out there, and obviously we've got big Steve's now on the show. We've got a Liverpool fan joining Straight Facts soon as well. We'll be announcing that very, very soon. So we're hopefully going to get up to 5 episodes a week of Straight Facts with different people. But yeah, lots to jump into today, viewers. Make sure like buttons are hit and you're subscribing. Where to start? Do you know what? Do you know where I want to start with you? So I need to get your take on this because I'm not going to lie. I'm triggered. I'm triggered. Trent Alexander-Arnold looks really good in this inverted fullback role where he essentially plays in midfield. I think he's looked great in the last 2 games. I think he's better there than a traditional right back because he can't defend well. I get why Liverpool fans are happy. I get why Liverpool fans are excited about this new position. But the overhype has already begun. Because inverted fullbacks are not new. Like, Lahm was doing it a decade ago. Kimmich's been doing it forever. Zinchenko has been doing it all season for you guys. Pep's been doing it for 3 or 4 years in the Premier League. Ten Hag's been doing it this year. But suddenly they've got a new name for it. They're calling it the hybrid midfielder. and I listen, it's not a dig at Trent. Trent's done a great job in that role. But I'm really scared. I'm scared that they're going to do this. Trent is what's the word they used? He's revolutionized again the right back role now that he's become this hybrid midfielder. It's hybrid inverted midfielder hype. Why is this happening? Why can't they just say Klopp has copied Arteta and Pep and Ten Hag and he's like changed Trent's role, well done, and leave it at that? Why has it got to be hyped up to, oh my God, generational? It's Trent who's revolutionized things. It's mad to me. It's mad.
Terry, this ain't new, but it's like I was watching Bayern Munich versus Manchester City the other day, the first leg. I had to mute it. I can't remember the woman's name who was commentating. Yeah, and she was calling John Stones a hybrid. I was like, what is it, a Toyota Prius? Like, what are you chatting about? Yeah, this did, and do you know what? All of this, like, and I'm just going to say this, right? Herbert Chapman was doing this back in the 20s and 30s with his 2-3-5 formation. Yeah, the W formation, whatever you want to call it back then. Yeah. So why do people think this is some revolutionary like thing? Basically, your midfielder is playing in your defender is playing in midfield with the ball. Yeah, and without the ball, he drops back in defense. Like, that's it. Why do you need to make up these sexy words for it? Like, it's funny, man. But I think I know the reason, Terry, as to why they put all these funky names on it, because it makes them sound more intelligent talking about football. Like, because let's be real with it. Most people sit there and make out their tacticos and all of this. If they were that good, they'd be managing a football team. Like, let's just be real with it. Like, it's true. One of my best friends, he lives in Sevilla. Yeah, he runs a girls' team. Yeah, and they're top of the table. They won the league last season. His first ever season managing, he won the league and the cup. Yeah, they're currently top of the league, and they're in well, not the FA Cup, but they're in their version of the cup semi-final. So he's on for another double. Yeah, he's going up against managers that have got coaching badges and all that. He's got no coaching badges. He ain't doing none of this inverted rubbish. He actually, and I'm going to say this, big up Joe Lings. I know he watches the show as well, yeah? He dropped his centre-back, yeah, for doing a Cruyff turn on the edge of the box, which led to a goal. He dropped that girl for 3 weeks straight, and that's his best centre-back. Yeah? So I had to teach him a lesson. All of this funky this and that and formations and upside-down Christmas trees and XG and scan rate and, like, you know, come on, man. Stop.
I don't mind the names of things changing per se. You know, calling, you know, back in my day when a team sat deep, you know, it was called, you know, sitting back, you know, solid banks of 4 and sitting back. And now they've kind of accumulated that into a low block. And I'm like, I actually quite like the phrase. I actually like the phrase inverted fullback. I think it sounds really good. That isn't really my issue. It's more, it's new for Trent and Liverpool, but it isn't. The innovation isn't like ungodly. Oh my God, how did Klopp think of this? Where has this come from? I saw a Liverpool fan on his channel earlier on today say, I think Trent's done it again. I think Trent is going to completely change how we play and completely rejuvenate and revolutionize the way Liverpool are as a team. And I'm first of all thinking, that's an exaggeration after 2 games. But they're going to try and make it sound like that's why he's the greatest right back of all time, because he's done this. And he's not the first guy to become inverted. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's doing it, and he's doing a brilliant job at it as well. And no one even rates him. And I thought it was just funny for me to see him get praised. But these men have
he's played well in them 2 games, Terry, right? And rightly so, he deserves a little bit of credit for that.
Yeah.
Right, because he can cross a ball. And there's not many players in this league that can cross a ball, like, consistently well. Yeah, but defensively, he's shocking. He can pass pretty well. His passing's not bad. His crossing's pretty, like, levels, yeah?
Yeah.
But the meltdown, I watched that game against Leeds last night. I mean, when are Leeds fans actually going to start calling their club out for getting bang average managers with bang average players playing a high line? Like, if you want to do that, move to the Bundesliga, because they all play a high line. Yeah, but you're in the Premier League. You can, like, so it looks great, and he'll feed balls through against a high line all day long. And they were ruthless with their shots last night, very similar to it against you lot. Pretty much every shot they had was going in yesterday in the second half. Yeah, but to make out it's revolutionary and he's amazing and he's the best at this and the best at that. I just said to you, back in the late 20s and early 30s, Herbert Chapman was doing this, mate, at Arsenal. Yeah, and at Huddersfield. Like, let's just to be real with it. But like I said, it's like, all of these sexy names, like, it used to be Park the Bus when Jose did it. Why was it Park the Bus when Jose did it, but now it's Low Block now? Why? Because nobody liked Jose. Because Jose's a serial winner. He triggered people. He was arrogant. He was rude. Yeah, and he riled people up the wrong way. Very similar to me, by the way. It's not what you're saying. It's how you're saying it, right? And Jose rattled people. So then it was, he parks the bus. Like, I get it all the time when I mention Simeone. I say he's a top manager. He plays negative football. Somebody said that to me yesterday on the show with Kenny and Jez. So I went to 2014 season, right? And they scored 20 goals less or 23 goals less than Barca and Madrid that season, who were all singing, all dancing in 2014. 2 seasons ago, when they won the league, they scored the same amount of goals as Real Madrid. But it's seen as negative football. But then when your favourite manager does it, or your team do it, all of a sudden it's low block, yeah, inverted, hybrids. Yeah, like, get in the bin, man. Stop complicating and over-sexing football, man. Like, just, it is what it is. It's like, Gengen pressing. No, you're just team pressing, mate.
Do you know what it is? Again, I don't mind the phrases. It's when you ask someone to explain what it means. So there are some tacticos, they call themselves. If you ask them to explain it.
Close that door because they've decided to trim the grass now.
No worries. No worries. But it's very much this for me. I don't care what you call it per se, as long as you can explain it in basic terms. If you can't, then you don't understand it. But it isn't even about what they're calling it. It's just suddenly this notion of, oh my God, this guy, he is the inventor of something new. No, bro, it's a bit like if you invent or you create a see-through toaster, you didn't invent the toaster. You just it's an adaptation of something that already exists. You know, it's as simple as that for me. But listen, Trent did look good in his new role. I think he's got to stay in there, get him away from defending as regularly as you can, and Liverpool will undoubtedly improve next year if they buy the right players. There's no doubt about it. You see what's going on at Chelsea?
I've seen that they're proper Chelsea. Chelsea. Proper Chelsea. We're unhappy with Todd B at the weekend, weren't they?
Don't you find? Listen, that's the one. So one of the only chants in football that winds me up. Because whenever I hear it, I just hear it's just there's nothing to it. I don't get it. Anyway, I know Chelsea fans hate me for saying this.
Yeah, we're going to rattle proper Chelsea.
Well, Todd Bowley's giving team talks. He's giving team talks.
That guy, right? And I watched Matisse last night saying this, and he was absolutely spot on what he said. He just needs to stay away from the football club. Like, you've got your people in there now. Yeah, move, get out of the way. Yeah, like, how many times in 19 years that Abramovich was there did we actually hear from Abramovich? Like, walking down the street with sky cameras following him, or like, you know, actually doing sit-down interviews or going in the dressing room. Every now and again, he'd go in the boozers and put a tab behind the bar and say free drinks for everyone. But you never used to see him on camera very often. You never used to hear from him speaking very often. Like, you know, sometimes we'll get, David Ornstein or someone sit down with the Cronkies, like Josh Kroenke especially. Yeah, like, but that happens like once every 2 or 3 years. Like but there's this obsession with an owner being at the game. Like when it was Kroenke out, which is funny because now it's FSG out of Liverpool. Like it was Glazers out. The only thing I'll say about Man United, by the way, very quickly, yeah, is even when you're winning, you want the Glazers out. When our team are winning, nobody mentions the Kroenkes. When Liverpool were winning, nobody mentioned FSG. Now all of a sudden, Liverpool ain't winning. Now it's FSG are the problem. Well, you should have been doing that when you were picking up Champions Leagues and leagues. But with Chelsea, Todd Bowley's done pretty much what I'd say most football fans would like to happen. He's come in, he's splashed loads of money, he's bought loads of players, yeah, and you're thinking, okay, cool, this is a new era. The problem that he has is he's getting way too involved. Like he's not putting the people in the right positions at the right time. I think he was director of football at one point, wasn't he? And then he resigned from that role. Then he's going out and walking down the street, giving it 3-0 away to Madrid. I mean, he's just making himself look an idiot. He's sitting in Twitter spaces. And when you start listening to fans online, on Twitter, especially of all platforms, right, and listening to what they're saying, and you then go and do what they're saying en masse, that's a recipe for disaster, mate. And when you look at it, real talk, right, they have, I think it was you that said this, they have got the lowest wins in the Premier League since, I think it was October or something, or November, something like that. I think since Tuchel's left, they've got the lowest wins in the Premier League or the lowest points in the Premier League since something like that, you said. But yeah, the problem they have is he's too invested in it, mate. Like, and you've got Lampard coming out making excuses up, saying, "Oh, I haven't had time to get on the training ground." You know, like we got Champions League, mate. You're getting paid to manage that team out of the oblivion they've been put in. Yeah, so shut up. He's saying that he's just, I've only had time to sit down with one-on-one meetings. Okay, so what are all the coaches doing then? Like, why aren't you out there getting the team galvanised? You know, as much as we've all dissed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer over the years, the one thing he did was get all of them grouped together and actually pull some results out of the bag. 20-odd games away from home without a defeat. What's he going to do? Terry, he has won 1 out of his last 17 games as a manager, Lampard.
Mate, the Lampard thing, right? I don't even know how to. When he came in, and I saw certain Chelsea fans be like, "I'm happy." As soon as I heard the words, he'll galvanize this team. You man are indoctrinated by the proper Chelsea syndrome, I think we've got to call it. How is the man who lost the dressing room, where half that dressing room is still here, going to come in and pick up the pieces of a and people think I'm bantering when I say it. Sam Allardyce would be doing a better job right now. You wouldn't be playing pretty football, but he would get these players running through brick walls, organized defensively, and you'd win, and they would win some games. It's crazy. That thing about October, it says here, list of Premier League teams who have won fewer games than Chelsea since October 16th, and then there's no one on the list. So since according to Dan's story, that's according to Dan's story. So I'm just going to check that's actually true here. So from October 16th until now, it's not quite. Everton and Southampton have won 4. They've won 5. But that's the point. Like only Southampton and Everton have won less games than Chelsea. But Chelsea have played 2 more games than those teams. Like Chelsea are literally, they are in relegation. If there was 5 games remaining this season, Chelsea would go down because. Do you know what it is? A lot of the players that are in the relegation battle at the Southamptons, Leeds, Bournemouth.
Yeah, they're used to it.
They're used to it or they expected it. These Chelsea players, they don't know what to do in this.
Overrated prima donnas, mate. That's what they are. Overrated prima donnas.
This is what happened. An example I'll give it is this, right? I grew up really poor. So if the worst thing in the world happened and I lost money and had to go back to a very low paid job to begin with and work my way up, it would hurt. But I could handle that situation because I've been there before. If somebody's born with a silver spoon in their mouth, like most of these players come through at big clubs, play at big clubs, they used to be near the top of the league in the Champions League. Suddenly, if you pull the rug from under their feet and they're broke, there's no one to get. So, look, I'll give you $100,000 a year job in this bank, or you can go work for Uncle Johnny's law firm for $120,000 a year. If you've suddenly got to go, right, I've got to go and make some burgers at McDonald's and live in a horrible bedsit for the next 6 months until I get some money. Those rich toffs won't cope, and that's what that's what could happen if there was more games left. This Chelsea team would go down. Bringing Lampard back, it's not about attacking Lampard. It's about going, Todd Bowley made that decision. And I look at tonight's game against Real Madrid. I know that they're 2-0 down. Is it 2-0? It's 2-0. Chelsea Football Club should always have an element of confidence or hope that in tonight's game, they can turn it round. This is how you know your club is dead, when you're not even looking forward to matches and when you believe there is no hope of winning, because I was there last year. Every game we had from about October onwards, I had zero, barring Spurs, by the way, and we did beat them, no hope that we'd win those football matches. They're just in an absolute mess. And Chelsea fans are burying their heads right now. They're acting like, oh, it's okay. The media said we've got a really good process going on to find a new manager. And maybe
they've all written
maybe
off the
you
season.
do, but it's crazy. It's crazy.
They've all written off the season, right? And I said this to, I think I said this to Saeed the other day. Like, when they're sitting there, when there was like January window had come and they bought all these players and Potter's not getting any results and this and that, and everyone's looking at him going, mate, you've done 600 mil since the summer. You have to get in that top four. Like, and all the Chelsea fans go, no, let's just write the season off and blah, blah, blah. Aston Villa will below them in the league. They're now 11 points ahead of them. Right? So that turnaround from Aston Villa, why can't that happen at Chelsea? Why? Because they didn't have a manager in there that was being backed in terms of they gave him a load of players, but how many of them players did he want? Did they actually let him do what he wanted? Is it in contracts that certain players have to play? I mean, Mudrik's hardly played in certain games, and then he plays in. It's like then you've got Mason Mount sitting on the bench, then he's playing again. It's a mess, right? And for me, where their biggest problem is, Todd Bowley's way too invested. Like, he just needs to go to games by all means. You own the football club, yeah, cool, right? But don't go in the dressing room and undermine the manager. Yeah, because all that shows to players is, well, whatever. Didn't he have a go at one of the players? He called one of the players out or something. Well,
essentially what he said is he's basically said to the players, he asked them, why are you underperforming?
Is he for real? Like, real talk, is he actually high? Right, but he shouldn't even be in that dressing room. If that was Jose Mourinho as manager and he walked in there, Jose would kick him out. Like, a top manager would say, get out of here. Nothing to do with you, mate. You do what you're doing. Yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing. And when it don't go right, you'll sack me anyway. Right. But the problem they have is if they think that that's going to change going into next season, they're deluded, mate. Right. Because they've got about 30 odd players on the books and half of them shouldn't be there. They're not good enough. Or they've gone past their sell by date. Like, and they've got Lampard in there that apparently is not going to be there next season. So let's say he stays until the end of the season, which he should do. Then he leaves at the end of May, beginning of June. Right, I think his contract to be until 30th of June. That's what most contracts end, right? For managers and players, it goes into another year after that. Yeah. Let's say he leaves by the 30th of June. Well, the season starts in August. You've now got to get a manager in that's long term, that is then going to be going on pre-season with this squad, and trying to get players out and players in, and get his philosophy on that team, all inside an 8-week period. That ain't happening. And if they start poorly, mate. They start poorly next season, yeah, just put a bet on them getting relegated. And that's not even taking the mick, because for me, yeah, they have been the best team in this country for the last 2 decades. Yeah, the mentality, the elite level, like the mindset of the players, the ownership, but that ain't there anymore. As soon as Abramovich went, this guy's come in and it's almost like he hasn't got a clue what he's doing. He thinks he can do it all himself, right? And is then getting way too involved in stuff that he ain't got a clue about. It's like you get into computer science or something, or I don't know, like you're a scientist, I don't know, whatever, right? But you buy a company and then you want to go in and do all the testing and all of it. You ain't gonna have a clue what you're doing.
Well, no, this is the thing, right? If I bought a restaurant tomorrow, I would have no idea how to run it, and I'd have absolutely no idea how to cook the food. So what you do is you go and hire a top chef. Some chefs can run and manage bars and restaurants. Some don't, but let's just say you get a brilliant chef that does your menu, and then you get a top quality restaurant manager. I tell them what I want the outcomes to be. They tell me how to do it. If I suddenly start telling them they're wrong and controlling their jobs and stopping them from doing what they know is right, it's going to fail. And that's what he's doing there. He's got it wrong in every single which way. Look, this next managerial appointment for Chelsea, said it on the Top 6 show yesterday, is so important. If they get it wrong and they crumble again like they have this season, They may not get it right for many, many years after that. How do I know? Man United did the same thing. This is how you know that even with bad owners, you can still be successful to a point. When the Glazers came in at Man United between 2004 and 2013, Brian Gill and Fergie ran the club. The only thing they were losing control of is how much money they could spend because they don't control that element of it. As soon as the Glazers started running the club from 2013 until now, no title winning season, no title challenging season, been awful in the Champions League. How you're run, and I keep saying this to football fans, it's more important than your players, it's more important than your manager, it's more important than tactics and system. The way you're run as a football club should be your number one priority as a fan base. We've got some super chats here I want to do. The first one says, to me, it implies cowardice and giving up. Simples is okay, so it's about we'll come back to that later. It's about Arsenal. Sorry. Bowley playing football manager in real life.
He is. And listen, the one thing I will say here is you want an owner to come in, or most fans, because most fans couldn't care less about morals and all of this. It's about winning, right? You want an owner to come in and start flashing his cash. Like, I'd love Qataris or Saudis to own Arsenal, mate. Yeah, like, I'd love that because number one, it gets rid of the loser mentality that's rife in our club and our fan base. Right. Number two, it means that we'll be throwing money everywhere, which means we can attract the very best players. So you want that. The problem they've got is they're doing that with people that ain't got a clue how to run a club into elite level status. Roman Abramovich was super smart when he came in there because he went and got one of the best managers around at the time, Jose, just won a Champions League, see something in him, was like, yo, I'm getting him. He's cocky, he's arrogant, he epitomized it. And I'm going to back him. But they had Marina doing all the work behind the scenes. Yeah, and other people, obviously. So he had that filter there. Yeah, whereas now he's been doing the negotiation. Him and Egbali have been flying out to get players in. Like, come on, it's a mess.
Mate, I completely hear you. Marty says, I think he's going back to the tactics earlier that we were talking about. He says it's like when Man United play through a midfield. They are a counter-attacking team. But when Liverpool do it, they play heavy metal football. It's the same thing. There is an element of that.
Mentality monsters, mate.
But there's also, when it comes to like tactics and there's also how things are played. So Anthony at Man United versus Darwin Núñez is a prime example. Anthony has had a lot of bad games this year. He's had a lot of very good games this year. His end product isn't there yet. First Man United fan to admit it, but he scored some big goals. Some big goal against Arsenal. Scored a big goal against Everton, scored a really important goal at the weekend, got the winner against Barcelona, got a really important goal in a quarterfinal of a cup competition for us this year. But one thing he does do every game, keeps his shape, works hard, presses, always a menace to his fullback, always on him the whole time. But he wasn't being called Captain Chaos like Darwin Núñez. When Darwin Núñez was playing badly, but running around a lot, it was like, we know he ain't great, but look at Captain Chaos causing problems. And I'm not having a pop at Darwin. I told a lot of people to get off Darwin's back. I think he can become a player. But certain teams, certain players, certain managers get PR support from the media, and others continually will just get slagged off, no matter how good or how bad they're doing. I think you're absolutely right there, Mercy. I think you're absolutely right. Certain people get it and certain people don't. Sorry, Terry. Plenty Man United fans have criticized Anthony's end product. You ain't the only one. When did I say I was the only one who's done? I just pointed out that I have also done that, is what I said. Again, Chris, I think your cognitive dissonance kicked in and you didn't hear what I said. But yeah, of course, I criticize Anthony. He deserves it. But at the same time, I'm pointing out other players that have had poor seasons by their monetary value, by the level of goals they've scored. But yet, when they're not scoring, people look for the positives in them and go, yeah, but they're doing this. I remember once upon a time, there was a certain striker in the Premier League who wasn't scoring or creating, but he got praised for being the best defensive striker in the league. And that's what I mean by PR around underperforming. I'm not too sure what it is. It's a crazy one to me. Someone here says, Terry said he's first to have pointed it out. Yeah, I am one of the first to point it out. It's a little bit like online today. I've seen bare content creators now, Man United fans. I've seen them all online. Oh, I don't want City to win the league. They might do the treble. 2 weeks ago, when I posted that, I got called out by everybody.
Oh, they just suddenly realised City can do a treble.
City are not. City are not our real rivals. What they've realised is, not Terry Flewers was right. I'm not that narcissistic, but
No, they've realised Arsenal have wobbled where they thought Arsenal were walking it.
yeah,
That's what
and
that's
maybe
what-
and they're panicking, and people change it all the time. It's crazy. And people are asking me to check
Why don't
Saliba.
they? All the people that are asking about Saliba, why don't you just tell us in the chat? It'd be easier. Come on.
So hang on, let me just check. I'm going to do.
He's apparently back in training.
He's back in training now. Fair enough. We'll get on to Saliba a little. Oh, look, here comes the. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Not only is 7-0 dead banter, he's called us Manchester United, mate, bro, brother. Is that the best you got? Come on now, do better. But we'll talk Arsenal a little bit later on.
That's like your mum jokes, isn't it? Like
your mum. Just mad. The amount of fights at school that got started just by the 2 words, your mum. It's great.
Yeah,
Even my dad
in the car park with 100 people and 2 in the middle, just having it.
At least we used to fight one-on-one in those days, and there's no weapons. So
Yeah,
I do miss my generation. I do feel like we were the best generation. We were the best. We were in the best. We were around in the best generation.
Best music, best football, best everything, mate. 90s.
Yeah,
the 90s era was
it was very good. The era was great. Yeah, it was very, very great indeed. On Man United, though, I will say this. A lot of people call me out for this the last few days. I want to get your take on this. I think next season, if the ownership takeover goes through, we're challenging next year, 110% in my opinion. We are 100% challenging Arsenal and City for that Premier League title next year. Like we were meant to, after Liverpool beat us, we were going to fall off. After Newcastle beat us, we were going to fall off. 3 wins on the bounce after that, by the way. Well, Rashford's out. What are you going to do? 2 games, 3 games, 6 goals, 5 different goal scorers. We are going to challenge next year. I believe.
Oh, where's the new owners tell? Where are they? Because apparently the deadline was the 30th of March. Now it's the 29th of April. It sounds like my boy Jay, by the way. Yeah, I'm coming out on the 1st of April to see you for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's what he said last year, yeah? I said, okay. I said, cool, mate. He turned up in July. Yeah, done the same again this year. Yeah, I'll be out on the 1st of April. Then it was, the kids are off school. The flights are a rip-off. Yeah, just get out of here, mate. Yeah, it's now the 18th of April. He still ain't coming. He'll turn up in July again. This is the ownership at Man U. It's, deadline's this, deadline's that. Wouldn't it be funny if they went nowhere?
Baby, if the ownership, if they don't sell, very different conversations happening from me. If they clear the debt and there's money to spend, I still think we can do well. But I never believe we'll challenge or challenge long term with them in charge, running it. But maybe they'll change my mind. But in terms of the deadlines, that's because you've been a bit of a... I was having a debate before the show went live earlier today. Somebody said, Sky Sports have reported that they might stay. No, Sky Sports have had a debate about the Daily Mail article that they might stay. And this guy's like, yeah, they might. Ha, ha, ha. I think they will. This same guy, if I ever do a transfer story that's from the Daily Mail that's positive about Man United, he says it's fake news. Suddenly, the Daily Mail is the arbitrator of truth. However, if you actually listen to the professionals, the money people around this Man United takeover, they've all laughed at the idea of deadlines. Simon Jordan himself was like, there are no deadlines. There'll be a soft deadline in terms of we'd like the bids in by this point. But it's just at the end of the month, the Qatari bid comes in, it's the best, and the Glazers are, we're going to accept. If a day after the deadline, a week after the deadline, 2 weeks after the deadline, some other random bidder comes in and goes, there's $500 million more, they'll say, see you later, Qatar. They're going to go to that guy. There isn't the only time the real deadline is when a contract is signed that the Glazers can't go back on, when a full commitment is made. I'm really relaxed about the takeover. It's going how I expected it to. Third round of bidding is because each round of bidding, people have increased. The Glazers have obviously been encouraged by Rain Group, they're the bank running it, that they think they can get more money. And while they think they can get more money, this will happen. I did a video only a month ago, and I said every time we get close to these kind of soft deadlines that the media talk about, a story comes out where the Glazers think they've got enough investment to stay, and they're going to stay. But they've said that each time as well, and then they've pushed it further. So I'm kind of relaxed about it. In terms of the team, listen, we are we're not the finished article. There's no way, shape or form about that. We had a terrible start to the season, but if you just take away those first 2 games of Man United season, and I say that because context is no one ever cares about context when it isn't their team. I do, obviously being a Man United fan. We were awful, but it was very much in those games where the manager said, okay, I'm going to give some of the old guard a chance. You've all told me that it weren't you, it was the manager. Show me what you can do. And they let him down dramatically. And it was after that Brentford game where he took him on this crazy run the next day, laid down the law. The next match, we outclassed Liverpool. We've had some bad results after that. Away to Villa, away to Liverpool, and away to City. Those three have been awful and embarrassing results for us. But since then, no team in Europe has had more clean sheets than us. No team in Europe has won more games across all competitions than Manchester United. We've won a trophy. Since that point, only Arsenal and City in the league have more points than us, and they only have 5 more points than us. We've improved dramatically, and we're doing it with a manager a year into his rebuild. So that's why I believe, and I've said it in the, I've featured him in the thumbnail today, Harry Kane. I want Harry Kane to be one of our linchpin signings. You bring in a Kane, you bring in a Caicedo or a De Jong into that middle. You bring a top right back in, a goalie that can play out from the back, and I think we're more than attainable to get all those positions. You bolster the squad like that, you strengthen this core. I'm not saying we'll beat City to a title. I'm not even saying right now we'll finish ahead of Arsenal next year, because I think you'll challenge next year, irrespective of winning it or not this. But Man United are going to challenge, and I think rivals believe it as well. That's why they're so sheepish in praising our improvements this year. They call, what's that word? The copium, and you're on drugs and you're mad, you're mental. But that isn't an argument. That isn't a response. Like, I believe our manager's good enough, and I believe with Captain Bruno Fernandes running the show for us, we're going to finish the season well, and next year we're going to be a damn threat to everybody, both domestically and in Europe. Because Man United are very close, very, very close, in my opinion, to being back. The ownership change is key to this. Did the Glazers stay? There is a mentality issue if they remain. But I'm really excited. I know a lot of people don't want to believe it, but that's on you. You guys all said I was mad in the summer when I said Arsenal would challenge this year. You said I was mad. When I said Liverpool would come 5th or 6th, you said I was hating and crazy.
You actually said Liverpool win the league, mate. Let's
ignore that, though. Let's ignore that. Let's ignore that, right? So no, that was the irony.
Although I said Arsenal would come 5th and Chelsea would finish above us, no, something like 200 quid.
And we all still have that. But what I mean is, like, Liverpool fouled everybody. No one expected Liverpool to be this bad this year. And predicting them to win or come second was that was kind of normal. And it's like with City. People nearly always predict City to win the league because they're seen as the best team. It's almost like, I predict them. It's an easy one, if that makes sense. But sometimes when you really, how much thought in pre-season do you put into City being 1st or 2nd?
None. They're going to be 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're going to go for every single trophy, and they're going to be there till the death on most of them.
Yeah.
But with Man United, I think, like, even if you don't get a takeover, you are going to get rid of a lot of players in the summer. I think the one thing we've all seen about Ten Hag is he is pretty ruthless. Yeah. Like, and it's only the fact that you've got central defenders out injured now that he's had to play Lindelof and Maguire. Lindelof's not as bad as people make him out to be. Yeah, but Maguire ain't it. Like, and I know he was scapegoated for that own goal the other night, and it was a funny own goal and all of that. But if you actually look at his performance when he was on the pitch, he actually weren't too bad. Yeah, but he scored an own goal, and that's all people look at. But I think he'll be gone in the summer. I think there'll be other players out the door. McTominay will probably be one of them. Yeah, you'll probably get rid of a couple other players as well along the way. But you need a centre-back definitely in the summer. 100% you need a centre-back. Varane, as good as he is, you can't rely on him all season. Yeah, and Lissandro Martinez, yeah, top player. Yeah, top player. And it's mad that he's got injured now, and then Varane's out as well. Like, because now you're going with the defence that let you down last season. And now you're going into a game against Sevilla on Thursday, and it's almost like, I'm not too sure now. Do you know what I mean? But listen, you're still in the cup on the weekend against a very good Brighton team. If you win one more trophy this season, even if you don't, and we don't win anything, for example, you've had a better season. I see Rio Ferdinand say this, by the way, on his show, saying that if Man United finish 3rd and win the cup that they've won and nothing else, and Arsenal finish 2nd and win nothing, we've had the better season, he said. And Joel was like, nah, that's rubbish. I'm like, well, it's not though, is it? Because a trophy beats no trophy. So league position, one away from each other, plus a trophy, gazumps 2nd and no trophy. But you have to look. If I was a Man United fan, I'd be confident. whether the Glazers are there next season or not. Yeah, I'll be confident because I would have seen what he's done. Like you said, forget the first 2 games, but even if you add them 2 games in, yeah, you're 15 points off of Arsenal, which is a lot of points. Yeah, let's be real, it is a lot of points. But having said that, yeah, there is signs there to say, look, he's playing and getting Wan-Bissaka playing elite levels at times. He's got Harry Maguire back in the team right now. He's got Lindelof in the team. He's had Scott McTominay in midfield at times. Casemiro's missed 4 games. Yeah, when he probably shouldn't have been sent off in either of them 2 games. Like, weak. Like, you could look back at that and say, if you had Casemiro, would you have done this? Would you have done that? But, yeah, I'd be confident if I was United. And listen, if you do get the Qataris, mate, yeah, then it is peak. It is peak because you are going to, they're not coming here just to muck about. They're going to come and they're going to invest and they're going to try and be the best, which can only be good for the league. Yeah, and it'd be nice to have Man United fighting for a title again. Like, I'm saying that as an Arsenal fan because I grew up on that. Yeah, and for me, I always put you lot above Tottenham as rivals. Yeah, even though we've both been banter clubs, yeah, Man United is the rival for me. That lot don't win nothing. So, you know, Man United's always been there. We've always been fighting back in the day with you for titles and that. So it'd be nice to have you fighting for a title again, especially if we're in the mix as well next season. But even if you don't get the takeover, I still think, like, even though there's not a lot of money in the pot, yeah, we've seen enough from Ten Hag this season to know that he is a very good manager.
I agree. And there's a comment here that says United can't control games. We did at the weekend. I haven't seen enough progress to say that they can go for the league. We controlled our last 3 league games. I don't know, John, if you watched them. But this is the thing. When Liverpool jumped from being 4th to being just 1 point behind City and winning a Champions League, they jumped from 4th to being one of the best teams in the world in one summer. Arsenal went from bottling top 4 to currently being 4 points ahead of one of the greatest English sides of all time in Man City. So I don't think it literally works linear A to B. Man United have improved exponentially on last year. Games where Bruno, Casemiro, and Eriksen have started together, 17 games, 15 wins, 2 draws. You add to that as a core group, we'll challenge next year. Just you look at the league. If you just look at the league table, we do it on points basis. We're currently 15 points at the top. I honestly believe with the players I mentioned earlier, we can win an extra 15, 16 points next year. And it's not as though our Arsenal and City currently points totals are of a very high level. So
probably maximum, like there's not much more Arsenal and City could have done. We've dropped points against West Ham, Southampton, Everton, but you are going to drop points.
Yeah, you guys are probably not going to get that much better next year, but there's an opportunity for us to definitely be 10 to 15 points better next season, which makes us challenges. And like I've said, I didn't say win the league. I said challenge and be there. So again, I'm not over-egging it in terms of that. And I know a lot of people don't like, I see a few people say, Terry's gone full MUTV. I do get this from a lot of the, like, whenever Man United win a game, they're our worst. Man United winning a games are our worst viewed match reaction shows, even worse than Cities and Spurs have smaller fan bases. Our rivals hate when Man United do well on this channel. So I do get the reaction, people, but there we go.
Is you profit off a loss?
This is a weird comment. It says, this is why Man United don't win trophies. The fan base are very deluded. Were you asleep 6 weeks ago? Have you been asleep? We won a trophy. Blue Viper. I mean, try again. Bruno is a brilliant player. Rival fans hate him, but that's a compliment to his ability. He's one of many leaders we have. Can't speak more highly of him. Top signing.
Disagree. Every big game.
You hate
him, well, I don't hate him. I just don't rate him. Yeah, every top big game, that guy is nowhere to be seen, mate. Nowhere to be seen. Like Villarreal final, what did he do? It's one of the worst final performances I've ever seen in my life. Shocking.
He was poor in that game. There's no doubt about it. But look, for me, he's going to be our captain. My manager backs him. Everyone knows I back him. And I think he's going to win some major trophies with Man United. So I agree with that one there. Terry, are you scared of Arsenal? Do you know what's really funny about all of this? Obviously, we are going to speak on Arsenal now. What I find really interesting about this is people keep saying to me, "Oh, you said Arsenal were scary this year." They are. When I said they were scary, I actually predicted them finishing third, and you all said I was wrong. That's guaranteed to happen. Arsenal still are scary. Arsenal still in this title race, but I did want to jump to you on this, Lee, because obviously it was another disappointing weekend for you. You scintillating, brilliant, threw away a 2-goal lead. It was identical. It was identical to the Liverpool game, but that was put down to being away at Anfield. What's happened these last 2 weeks, mate?
Arrogance, shocking subs, complacency, overconfidence. Like Anfield for 40 minutes, we were unreal. Like, that was probably the best we have played all season in that first 40 minutes. Yeah, and then like people pinned it on Granit Xhaka. Maybe you could pin it on him and say, because you could hear a pin drop at Anfield. I watched the game back the next day, and like with the TV on, not mute, but you could hear a pin drop at Anfield. All you could hear was the away fans. Yeah, and then Granit Xhaka rolls them up. We switch off for 40 seconds and bang, 2-1. Yeah, like coming back to inverted fullbacks, by the way. Zinchenko was nowhere to be seen in that goal for Salah. He was nowhere to be seen for the second goal. Yeah, because he got nutmegged and didn't even like. I mean, that was just ridiculous. Yeah, and then the game against West Ham, like, okay, cool. People can sit there and go, well, it's Anfield. When was the last time Pep? Yeah, when was the last time Pep went 2-0 up or 3-1 up, like 2 clear goals gone in back-to-back games and didn't win them 2 games? I'd imagine in his entire career that's never happened. Yeah, I don't actually know, but I'd imagine that's never happened, mate. Yeah, because you shut up shop. Top elite level managers and players shut up shop. And cool, we got out of Anfield, we drew. Yeah, hanging on for dear life at the end. They probably should have nicked it. But then saying that, we had a chance in the 96th minute. And if Martinelli could pass the ball properly, like, Saka rounds the goalkeeper and scores. So we were, I don't know, man. That game wound me up. But then when you go into West Ham, we've had 7 days to prepare for that game. You go into West Ham, and for 20 minutes, it was like, wow, this is even better than Anfield. We were looking mad. Yeah, Thomas Partey was best player on the pitch for 20 minutes. Then all of a sudden, it looks like he's never played football before. And it's like, what's happening here? Like, we scored 2 great goals, 2 lovely crosses into the box from Ben White and Martinelli. Odegaard, great finish through the keeper's legs. We're thinking, right, just keep going, keep going. People in my chat were saying, right, what's the record for the Premier League score? Like, biggest Premier League score. Like, we were all gassed. Yeah, we were like, I predicted 4-0. Yeah, I think Ola predicted 3-1. There was loads of 5-0s and all that flying around all week. Yeah, and I was like, we've got to go and make a statement. Yeah, because you can't go 2-0 up and not win that game. I don't care whether it's Anfield or not. If you're 2-0 up, you win the game. You see that game out. Yeah, and then they go into that game against West Ham, and you're like, cool, this is looking good. They've obviously rectified the problems, bang. And then it was like, we just sunk further and further back and invited him on. Declan Rice, for me, was man of the match. I have no idea how Odegaard got man of the match in that game. Yeah, no idea how he got man of the match. Yeah, Declan Rice, best player on the pitch. Paqueta not far behind him. You got people are scapegoating Rob Holding. Listen, he wasn't very good, but he weren't at fault for either goal. Like, he weren't at fault for either of the goals. Gabriel Magalhaes was knee sliding towards Paqueta. What's that all about? Why was you on your knees? What's that all about? You've given the guy the opportunity to fall over and get a penalty. You know, people are crying about it was handball, Declan Rice and all of that. Well, I don't know. There's no conclusive angle to suggest it's handball. I don't know. And if it is handball, maybe it touched him on the stomach or the chest and hit his arm. Very similar to how the Gabriel one against Liverpool was and wasn't given. Very similar to how the Gabriel one at Palace at the start of the season was and wasn't given. So let's not blame referees here. We weren't good enough. Yeah, and then, like, you just knew they were going to get into it. And the substitutions, mate, I have to say, yeah, like, his substitutions have been baffling for the last 2 games. You need a goal and you take Jesus off.
Well, that was one of the super chat questions here, is to say, Lee, why did you think Arteta took off Jesus when we needed a goal?
I have no idea. I have no idea, mate. Yeah, and the thing that winds me up with it is people are making excuses for it. Like, oh, yeah, but he's only just coming back from injury. And what? If he's fit enough to start the game, he's fit enough to finish it. Like, that's it. Like, Saka played 95 minutes of that game. Why? Yeah, he should have been hooked at half-time. He was woeful, man. Yeah, and listen, people will get onto him for the penalty miss. I ain't going to slag him off for a penalty miss. The one thing I will slag him off for, why are you coming out and apologising for it? What's that all about? Mohamed Salah missed 2 in a row. You didn't see him apologising, did you? Why are you apologising for missing a penalty?
It's like a weird trend at the minute. Players are like, I've never seen players tweet or apologise for missing penalties. It's a bit strange. It's not just Arsenal. I've seen it at other clubs as well. It's crazy.
Like he took Thomas Partey off for Jorginho. Okay, cool. But at the same time, he didn't bring Jorginho on at Anfield. And it's like, when you're at Anfield, we signed Jorginho and it got dressed up like wealth of experience, played in massive games, won multiple trophies, third in Ballon d'Or. We've signed an elite level experienced footballer to help us win a title in hard games. So when you need somebody to come on and control the midfield tempo at Anfield, you bring on a kid called Kivior for his second Premier League appearance after his first was 4 minutes. And it's like, then you need legs and physicality in the game because we're getting overrun physically, against West Ham, and you bring Jorginho on. That makes no sense. Like, makes no sense. You throw Eddie Nketiah on. I'm not his biggest fan, Terry, You throw him on with 4 minutes of stoppage time to go. What's he going to do? You take Odegaard off, who, by the way, I thought was shocking. Yeah, he wasn't the worst player on the pitch. Like, and I see that you did the fan cam reactions and all the comments on it. Well, why is he digging out Odegaard? Saka? Mate, that was 1 minute you clipped, of an 11-minute video. If you actually go and watch the fan cam I did, I mentioned Saka. I'm not having a dig at you. I'm talking about the comments.
No.
I actually dug out Saka for being the worst player on the pitch. Thomas Partey as well. Yeah, the only players that could walk off of that pitch and say they actually played half decent, and I mean half decent, not even a 5 out of 10, maybe less than half decent. Then the goalkeeper, although he should have saved that shot, Gabriel Magalhaes was our best defender. Yeah, and people are getting on to Tierney, but you wouldn't ask an air stewardess to fly the plane, would you? So why are you putting Tierney as inverted? He's the best defensive and up and down fullback in the league. Yeah, so why are you asking him to come in midfield? Yes, he shouldn't have switched off, but him and Rob Holding, maybe you could say were playing. I think Rob Holding was playing him on side and Tierney switched off. I don't blame Rob Holding for that. Tierney should have tracked his man. Yeah, and the goalkeeper should have saved it. Yeah, but then after that, you need a goal. You need a goal, and you take Jesus off the pitch. Yeah, Granit Xhaka, anonymous. They were shocking. Martinelli did nothing after setting up that goal.
Why do you think when it was the Liverpool game, the narrative was it's not Bottel, it's Anfield, hard, point gained. To do the same thing 2 games running, identical. What do you think has led? I mean, do you call it Bottel? If so, why do you think this has happened? What has led to these 2 poor results, in your opinion?
Arrogance. It is bottling, Terry. Let's be real with it. It is bottling. Like when Harry Kane puts a penalty over the bar for England against France, it's called bottling, isn't it? Yeah, when Tottenham didn't win the league against Leicester and us, it was called bottling, wasn't it? Yeah, they were never top all season. They were never top at all that season, by the way. Yeah, and Arsenal fans laugh at them and say it's bottling it. Yeah, but if we don't win the league after being top all season and 8 points clear, it's not bottling. Why? Because if Tottenham were bottle jobs and came third in a 2-horse race, that's what our fans say. How's not being 8 points clear and not winning the league not a bottle job? It is bottling, Terry. Yeah, the pressure is getting to them. Yeah, it's getting to the manager. It's getting to the players. Yeah, and let's be real. If you take out Jesus, Zinchenko weren't on the pitch. Tierney got subbed. Jorginho was the only one on that pitch that's actually seriously won anything. Maybe you could say Thomas Partey when he was on as well. Like, but he came off pretty early. Like, he's won a Europa League in the league, albeit I ain't counting that league. He played 3 games for Atleti that season before signing for us. So can you really say he won the league?
Oh, that don't count.
No, that's what I'm saying. But like, who on that pitch is going to galvanise that team and look at them when everyone's looking around at each other and you need a big moment in a game? Who are you looking at? You're looking at players like Jesus is off the pitch. You can't rely on him now. Thomas Partey's won stuff, but he's off the pitch. Yeah, Jorginho ain't gonna score a 30-yard screamer. Yes, he hit the bar against Villa. Yeah, but he ain't exactly gonna grab the game by the scruff of the neck and drive you forward and do stuff. Yeah, where was the player on the pitch? And like for me, I thought Trossard was poor when he came on. Like I think Trossard should have come on a lot earlier. Played him on the left, put Martinelli on the right. You could have even brought Reece Nelson on and played one either side. I know he brought Reece on in the end, but way too late, man. And his subs, and listen, he's done very well to get us to the top of the table, and the players have been brilliant. We have been the best team in the league. Let's be real with it. Even if City beat West Ham, which is ironically their game in hand, yeah, and I guarantee they'd batter them, by the way. right? Even if they beat them, we're still top. So we have been the best team. Yeah, we have played the best football at times. Yeah, for a large part of the season. But when it really matters, Terry, right? You take Jesus off the pitch and Zinchenko's not on the pitch anyway because he's injured.
Yeah,
that is the same team that bottled top 4 last season. Yeah,
mate, I hear where you're coming from. D here says, Terry, can you and Lee please define bottling?
why don't you define bottling after I do it as well? I'll do that.
He's already done it. He has said, for me, it implies cowardice and giving up.
I don't go that deep, if I'm being honest, but I get it. I understand what you're saying. I wouldn't go that far about cowardice and giving up because I don't think they did give up. I just don't think they were good enough. Yeah, they didn't have that spark. Yeah, and like I said, the manager substitutions were baffling. They're like at Anfield, like you're 2-0 up at Anfield. Now, I know Anfield can get to everybody and that, but Terry, we played them off the park for 40 minutes. They then scored, right? And all of a sudden, it's backs against the wall. We're bricking it. Why? Why are we in that situation? And that comes down.
I think for me, bottling it is when you basically you succumb to your nerves and fear. So I think in both these games you were cruising. You got a bit lackadaisical and the team got a goal back. And then I think, oh no, what if we lose from here? City will hunt us down. And I think the fear and the nerves around that consumed you and stopped you from playing. So I get your point, you weren't good enough, but I think what stopped you from playing to your optimum ability was the nervousness that came over you. And I think in the West Ham game, because you'd done it the previous week, the same thing kind of crept in again because you weren't doing. I listened to Gary Neville, and he was talking about, and I kind of went back and watched some footage from it. You watch your defenders once you conceded that goal. They weren't bringing the ball down, controlling it, and playing it out.
Yeah, just booting it everywhere.
Clear, heading it out because they'd lost a bit of composure. That's not because they're
suddenly doing back heels. Yeah, Odegaard's trying to do these no-look reverse passes in the last 5 minutes of the game. We're all trying to do back heels and fancy flicks. And it's like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like when we played Bournemouth, albeit it was at home, we weren't doing none of that crap with 5 to 10 minutes to go. We were just shooting and peppering them with shots. And in the end, it worked out. Yeah, in that game, my definition of bottling is when it's a big moment of a big football match, i.e. Liverpool or West Ham. Yeah, because, listen, we've played with freedom most of the season. Let's be real with it. Yeah, because nobody expected us to win it. Yeah, but now when you're 8 points clear at one point, everyone's expecting you to win it. We become favourites. Fans' expectations should have raised. Yeah, although I want to come to some of that in a minute because I've got a little bit of a...
Yeah. Well, I've got some super chats here. First one says, City fan, but I have to call out Lee's hypocrisy. Been banging on about Zinchenko defensive errors all week. Doesn't mention Tierney, who lost his man for the second goal. Gives him man of the match. Come on, Lee, be unbiased.
Well, for me, he was man of the match.
Tierney.
Yeah. I'm not just saying that because I rate Kieran Tierney. Yeah. But, Terry, let's have it right here. Gabriel Magalhaes. Yeah. I thought he was very, very good in that game. Yeah, and listen, it was the best of a bad bunch, by the way. Him and Tierney were probably our best two on the pitch. Yeah, the goalkeeper should have saved the shot. Gabriel gave a penalty away. Tierney let his man go. Other than that, I thought they were both all right. Yeah, let's just go back here very quickly as well, by the way. Jared Bowen was clean through on goal. Clean through on goal. Right-sided centre-back Rob Holding was nowhere to be seen. Yeah, neither was Ben White. Who was the last man? Running across from left back all the way over to slide tackle and stop that guy in. Oh, yeah, Kieran Tierney. But nobody will give credit for that because it's Kieran Tierney and I rate him. Yeah? Who's putting balls into the box? Nice balls into the box. Yeah? Who was involved in the second goal? Yeah, the pre-assist that you lot all jizz over. Yeah, Kieran Tierney. Yeah, if that was Odegaard, yeah, that was doing that, or Zinchenko, everyone would be loving it off. But because I rate Kieran Tierney, yeah, it's a problem. Kieran Tierney and Gabriel were our best two players on the day. And that's not saying they were great. And I've already said on my fan cam and on all the shows I've done, including this one this week, he switched off for that goal. And that is unforgivable, mate. That is not good enough. But at the same time, Mikel Antonio sprinted away from Bukayo Saka and was gone clean through. Again, Kieran Tierney comes over and stops that. Yeah. Amount of times Antonio went down the right wing, got past Martinelli on the left side. Yeah, and Tierney stopping him getting the cross in. Didn't see Ben White doing that in that game, and Ben White's been brilliant this season. Yeah, this hate for Kieran Tierney is a joke. Yeah, and the only reason people don't like Kieran Tierney is because I like him and they don't like me. Let's just be real with it.
Mike here says we defended a 4-4-2 off the ball. Tierney wasn't inverted for the goal. He fell asleep. Hopefully now people will see the importance of Zinchenko, scapegoated. And Danilo
Zinchenko would not have been at left back anyway, mate.
And Danilo also here says Tierney was absolutely shocking. Can't trap a ball.
Well, at least he can defend, apart from one lapse. Yeah, but let's not forget Zinchenko was at fault for 2 of our goals at Anfield, both of them. Yeah, because he weren't at the back stick. It was Gabriel Magalhaes. She was in centre back position on the penalty spot. Yeah, and then he got nutmegged by Trent. Yeah, so it's easy to blame Tierney for one mistake of the season. Yeah, when he's been brilliant most of it, when he has played. But let's not forget that most of the goals that we've conceded in recent games have come down Zinchenko's side because he ain't there. But that's fine. That's no drama. We're not allowed to say that because it's Zinchenko and he plays inverted and it's all sexy, isn't it? Like a proper orthodox left back that gets up and down the pitch, yeah, that can actually defend and is the best defensive defender left back in the league. There ain't a better left back that can defend better than him in the league. Don't care what anyone tells me. Yeah, he is the best left back in the league defensively. And he can cross the ball.
Debbie here says, don't worry, Lee, at least you are still in it. But my question is, what would you do if Arsenal bottle the league? I suppose, do you think you'll now bottle it? And what will you do if you do?
To be honest, Terry, it's frustrating because the amount of people I've seen that are sitting there going, oh, it don't matter, we're overachieving anyway. Like that loser mindset's got to go, mate. Yeah, like Kenny said it to me yesterday. He said the process has ended. Yeah, the process has ended. We're in a title race. Yeah, we're in a title race. The process is finished. So stop getting emotionally attached to managers and players at the club. And people are saying, oh, but you're emotionally attached to Tierney. I hope he leaves. Real talk. I hope Kieran Tierney leaves and goes somewhere that appreciates him because this fan base don't deserve a player like that. Yeah, if we had 11 Kieran Tierneys on the pitch, we would have been pissing the title anyway. Yeah, none of this inverted crap. I watch Real Madrid every week, right? Camavinga's playing left back at the minute because both of their left backs are injured. Yeah, he'll play again tonight at left back, I think. Yeah, I guarantee he ain't inverted. Why? Because Ancelotti don't complicate crap. In terms of bottling, if we bottle it, if we don't beat Southampton, it's completely over, mate. Yeah, real talk, it's completely over if we don't get a result against them. Yeah, we've now got to go to the Etihad and get something. Which, let's be real, we had to anyway, but it's not looking great. And we're conceding way too many goals. And when I was mentioning this, when I was doing it with Kenny and Jez on the podcast, and Kenny's going to the games and he's saying we're conceding too many chances. Bournemouth game, Palace had a couple of chances, Fulham had a few chances. We're getting shots against us left, right, and centre. We were told, shut up, we're still top, stop being negative. Now, all of a sudden, 2 games in a row, we've gone 2-0 up and not finished the game off and conceded 2 in both. We conceded 11 goals in our last 9 games. Yeah, that's not good enough if you want to win a title, mate. Yeah, and listen, we might end up winning it, and I hope we do. But right now, as it stands right now, Man City are unstoppable, mate. Yeah, and the pressure is well and truly on us. And it just shows in the last 2 games that when the pressure is on us, we don't handle it very well. Because the pressure ain't really been on us for most of the season. But now it's coming into the final 10 games. Now they can see the finish line. All of a sudden, we're playing great football for half an hour and then stopping. Why? And we've had a whole week, right, to think about what went wrong at Anfield. And then we're going to do exactly the same at West Ham. Like, mate, against West Ham, Everton, and West Ham, Everton, and Southampton, we've taken 2 points this season. West Ham, Everton, and Southampton away, we've taken 2 points. That's not great. Yeah, and we were winning all 3 of them games. No, sorry, I'm lying. We wasn't winning the Everton game. We lost 1-0. Yeah, Southampton, we were 1-0 up and drew 1-1. If that game went 5 more minutes, they would have nicked it. Yeah, West Ham, we were 2-0 up, cruising, and then didn't win. Right, and there's games this season where he's messed it up. Yeah, and the players have messed it up. But the problem is the standards have been so low for years that even if we don't win it, people are going to laud it up as a great success.
Kind of what you said about the loser mentality. I pulled up on this yesterday. I feel like Arsenal fans shouldn't be overly panicking right now. I think you shouldn't be throwing your toys out the pram. You can still, if you beat Southampton, which I think you will, you go into the City game 7 points clear. I think the pressure's on them because any slip up gives you such a big advantage.
And we played Chelsea before they played West Ham.
Yeah. So you played first. Yeah,
potentially go 10 points clear if we nicked a draw at City.
You nick a win, even more can happen. And Gary Neville's been quite damning of Arsenal times this year, but equally said these title deciding clashes, although City are the favourites, they can go any way. But I also feel like Arsenal fans need to become a little tougher with their team. So, and this is where I think football fans have got to learn, and maybe fans of Man United, fans of Arsenal, we haven't really experienced this because our team, in the since the social media era has become a thing, our clubs have been pants up until this year, really. And I don't think our fan bases get the balance right between ridiculous abuse and wrapping our players in cotton wool, making them weak. I think there needs to be a middle of, you really let us down. You were really poor. It was a terrible weekend. We want better. But I love you. I back you. Please go and do it next week. It's always too much of one or not enough of the other. It's so polarized. It's unbelievable.
Because nobody's allowed to criticize anyone. Let me read this stuff out. It's going to take me a few minutes to read this out. And apologies to anyone who's seen me read this out on every stream I've been on since Sunday. Yeah, right.
Read it.
Michael Oliver has been assigned as the referee for the Man City Arsenal game. Go and read the comments on this tweet. Yeah, it's just full of Arsenal fans crying about the ref. Why is it only Arsenal fans crying about the ref?
Send me a link to the tweet. Send me a link to the tweet. If you can.
I'll do that after.
Okay,
somebody sent me it. I think. Well, I can't even get on Twitter. Yeah, okay. Somebody sent me it. Right, only fan base on the planet to cry who the ref is. Right, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank said if they were 7 points clear, well, we're actually 8. It would be a disaster, leading the whole way to give it away in the last 3 matches or so. It's a disaster. It doesn't matter if you are thinking, not thinking to be number 1 at the beginning of the season. You've been number 1 the whole way. Yeah, he then goes on. We don't know what's going to happen next season. Yeah, everyone's going to get stronger. They might not be in this position again. Yeah, it's not a terrible season, but they would have given it away. Absolutely spot on, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen next season. If we look at Leicester, 2 seasons in a row, they were super close to getting 4th, and now they're 19th. So it can spin like that, mate. Yeah, can spin like that. Right? Let's go to Ian Wright. AFTV are promoting this crap again. Yeah, yeah. We're the 2nd youngest team in the league, and we're fighting off a monster in Man City. We're keeping this league alive. Okay, well, in 2009 Champions League semi-final against Man United, our squad was younger. Nobody mentioned young teams back then. Yeah, Henry Winter, he's gone down in my estimations, this guy. I thought he was the best journalist out there. But after reading this is shambolic, right? Arsenal aren't bottling it. That's naive and disrespectful. Just paying for individual mistakes. Xhaka versus Trent, Partey versus Rice, Saka missed pen. Okay, well, every single goal that goes in is an individual error. Even if it's a 30-yard screamer, the centre-back didn't close him down. The DM weren't there, didn't slide in quick enough. Every single goal that goes in is an individual error. So let's stop chatting crap here, right? Games and titles are defined by details. Nobody pre-season expected young Gunners, why do they keep putting this in, to be in title contention? I went City, loads did, AFC are ahead of schedule. Been waiting 19 years, mate. We're way behind schedule, right?
You knocked the stadium down for this.
Exactly, right? Young squad. Okay, Erling Haaland is 22 years old and scored 47 goals this season. How many people have mentioned his age? None. But when Bukayo Saka misses a penalty and drops 2 stinkers on the bounce, he's only young. What's his age got to do with anything? If he's good enough, he's old enough. Nobody's mentioning Vinicius Junior's age or Haaland's age or Pedri's age. Yeah, because it's only an excuse when you don't achieve, yeah, or you drop stinkers. Yeah, Erling Haaland has scored 47 goals and he's 1 year older than Bukayo Saka. Nobody's mentioned his age, mate. Let's continue. I mentioned earlier about Pep giving up 2 goal leads. Has that ever happened? Somebody help me. Gary Neville sitting there saying Arsenal's season would have been an unbelievable season even if they finished 2nd. Thank God Roy Keane brought a bit of sense to the situation. Yeah, by saying no, it ain't. Yeah, he's saying I'm not saying they won't be disappointed. Neville said, but if you look from the outside, they wouldn't have had a terrible season. He said it would have been a terrible season if they finished 2nd, Gary. Well, it would. Fair play to Roy Keane. This is the one that gets me, though, yeah? This goes on for quite a while, Tel, so bear with me. Right? It's a must-win game. Okay, well, we didn't win. Now what? I don't matter. Brush that under the carpet. Let's move on to the next one. Well, it ain't a must-win game then if nobody's held accountable. Right? So let's carry on. 0 accountability, yeah, and brush everything under the carpet for every shit show that we have, yeah, then you are part of the problem. Yeah, because you're pandering to this loser mentality that is rife in modern football, especially in the UK. Yeah, it don't matter. It don't matter. Right? I mentioned about Jorginho. We signed him for experience. He then plays Kivior at Anfield instead. Yeah, we then need legs and physicality against West Ham. He subs on Jorginho. Right? AFTV spinning another narrative from some Football London 19-year-old kid who's a football trends writer or something. I don't know. If Arsenal don't win the league this season, I'm very confident they'll do it next year, similar to how Liverpool did it in the 19/20 season. This team's only going to get better. Who says they're only going to get better? Well, I've just mentioned Leicester. Who says they're going to get better? Let's continue. Martin Odegaard signing a signed shirt for Declan Rice. Fair play. That might be for a family member who supports Arsenal. Why was the moment captured on film? And as soon as they finished signing it, they just literally walked around the corner. Why didn't you do that around the corner? All PR, all BS. Would Mark Noble have asked Patrick Vieira for a signed shirt after a 2-2? No, he wouldn't. Let's continue. Yeah, we have a thin squad. Okay, so why was everyone rating the 2 transfer windows in the summer and January 8 out of 10 then? Yeah, Ray Parlour giving it last week. No one expected this. Cool. Yeah, when we're 8 points clear, why is it only Arsenal fans that can't change their expectations of a season? Yeah, would Ray Parlour have sat in the dressing room with the legends that are normally behind me because I've got green on, I can't wear it. Right? Would he have sat there and said, don't worry, Tierney, don't worry, Paddy. Don't matter if we finish second, mate. Nobody expected us to win the league this season. Of course he wouldn't. Yeah. But it's always an excuse for not winning. Yeah. Right. Let's continue. Arsene Wenger lowered the standards of this club so low that he even said top 4 is bigger than the 2 cups. Yeah. And this fan base en masse online mimic this loser. Right. And he was a loser for the last decade. Right. That they sit there and go, top 4. Oh, we can't compete. It's okay. It's a young team. Yeah, no one expected this. Absolute losers. The day Qataris or Saudis buy us, this ends. So please, Bayern Munich, Oliver Kahn, one of the greatest goalkeepers you'll ever see in your life. Yeah, one of the hierarchy at Bayern, does a speech at a gala dinner in front of the team that had just been battered 3-0 by Man City. Yeah, it was like a funeral, mate. You could hear a pin drop. They're all heads down in their suits. Right? This comment on YouTube off that video, it's hard to imagine that a team like Bayern Munich cannot invest in serious PR experts, yeah, who knows how to write a motivational speech or to teach the Bayern leading man how to speak, because what Khan said was in no way anything motivational. Okay, well, the state of that comment about PR sums up modern football. Bayern don't do PR, they do winning. And since we last won a league title after smashing a stadium down to be like them, they have had 16 managers in 19 years and won 38 trophies. Cool. Let's go to another big club that we smashed the stadium down to be like, Real Madrid. Yeah, they take a fine every single season from UEFA for not promoting the rainbow stuff. Yeah? Every year they take the fine for that. They refuse to virtue signal. Since that we won a league title, which we smashed the stadium down to then go and be like them as well, 17 managers, that's nearly 1 a year, 27 trophies. Let's continue. Gary Neville, your mate. On the 16th of January, asked on his podcast, will Arsenal win the league? He said no. But I said Leicester wouldn't either. But they won't win the league. Manchester City will win the league. And I think Man United will finish second. That will annoy Arsenal fans. Cool. Gary Neville's had a lot to say about Arsenal and rattled them all season. Right? I've seen that because you put them out. Arsenal fans have been pressed all season that the mainstream media have said we won't win it. Yet if we finish second, they'll say no one expected it anyway. So why are you also pressed that they ain't saying we'll win it then? Makes no sense. Let's continue. Only fans on the planet who need constant coping mechanisms. Cry about anyone who writes this off and then make excuses when we fail. Calls anyone who has a strong personality and calls a spade controversial. Yeah, overrate all of our players as well beaters and then say they're a young squad when we don't win anything. Laugh at Spurs for bottling a league title to Leicester and make out an 8-point lead and not winning it ain't a bottle job. Wenger's to blame for infesting this fan club with absolute losers. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Arsenal were top of the league the season that we're saying Spurs bottled it. Spurs were never top of the league. We were top at Christmas, 39 points. Let's continue. Like I said earlier, would you get an air stewardess to fly the plane? You wouldn't. So why is Tierney playing inverted? Makes no sense. Yeah, makes no sense. Mikel Arteta after the game. If Saka scores the penalty, we win the game. How toxic, Mikel? He's only 21. Yeah, you're not allowed to call out Starboy, mate. How dare you scapegoat him for missing a penalty? Yeah, so toxic and negative, disgusting. Like, it's embarrassing, mate. I could continue, but I'm not going to. I could go on for another hour, mate.
Listen, there was a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. For me, I get some of it I agree with, some of it I disagree with. So I there is no guarantee next year is good because nobody thought you'd be this good this year. So it could work in reverse. Look at Chelsea, look at Liverpool. We know. I personally think you'll buy well this summer, and I still think you'll be a very good team next summer. But where I agree with you, like again, I don't think it's a disastrous season if you don't win the league. I don't think it's a disaster. I think there's nuance to it. So if you don't win the league, but you believe your team is going to challenge again next year, be good in the Champions League, improve its squad size, do better in the cups, I think you can be disappointed with not winning. You can even look at it as we threw it away, but you don't throw baby out with a bathwater and go, it's all a big disaster. At the same time, though, and this is where I think balance is needed, some of the things you said there where the players don't get criticized, let's find a way of it all being spun into a positive, is actually detrimental to your football club. And I've called those fans one thing for 2 years now, toxic positivity. You will actually damage your club if you don't hold people to account. You will damage and ruin your players if you don't put the right type of pressure upon them. But that also means you have to get that right. You don't abuse them, but you don't just say it's fine. It doesn't matter. We weren't expected to. They're young. We go again next year. No criticism is needed, because if that's the way it's done, I don't think you'll become a multiple winning a team that wins multiple major trophies. There has to be a balance in this. And I'm not saying you're not asking for that, Lee. I know what you've done there. You've read out all the different spins of how this isn't bad about drawing 2 games on the bounce, how it isn't bad if we don't win the league.
To win the league. If we don't win it, it's a failure, Terry.
No,
that's it.
And that's the one thing that Gooners have got to expect. When you make an excuse for everything being perfect, if you say we're full of world-class players, best team in the league, you then have to take your medicine when it goes wrong. But equally, take the medicine. Rivals shouldn't even be in your thoughts. Protecting your club from what the media say shouldn't really be your main thoughts. It should be, what am I going to say to my club to put pressure on them to go one better next year or to maintain it next year? Those things are key. I want to go to some of the super chats that came through, though. First one says, Lee, you seem incapable of putting things into perspective. You can't change a culture overnight and expect to win everything at once. We don't have unlimited cash. Have to be smart and improve gradually.
Let me stop right there. We've spent more money than every single club on the planet until this summer since Wenger left. Literally every single club on the planet, we have spent more money since Wenger's gone until this summer when Todd and everyone else went mad, right? So we do have money. Let's not pretend we're skint, mate, and we're Barnet, because we ain't. Yeah, this manager's done £500 million. Yeah, so let's not pretend it. He's had 21 new players signed for him, right? And changing the culture overnight, well, it's been 4 years. What are you talking about? Like, real talk, what are you chatting about? It's been 4 years. And you don't need to have unlimited cash. Atletico Madrid are proof of that. Yeah, they compete. They compete for trophies every year. So what are you talking about? Makes no sense. You have to be smart and improve gradually. No, you don't. No, you don't. There's teams out there that just bang. Look at Man United. First season under Ten Hag. Trophy. Yeah.
I hear you.
Go on, mate. Go on.
No. So I think I get what you're saying there. This year says I agree with Lee, but there has to be a middle ground. We can be disappointed, but we've made massive progress this year. And if we don't win, then next year we have to win a major trophy or sack Arteta.
But that's all well and good, Mike, you saying that, yeah. But if we don't win nothing next season, it'll just be round and round we go. Yeah, because it'll be like, I've seen people say all week, yeah, from the Liverpool game to now, yeah, but he's got us in this position. Nobody else could have done this. Okay, well, no disrespect. We're going into the Champions League next season, right? And all season, all I've heard is we've got bigger fish to fry. We're frying cups left, right, and centre out the window, right? We can't compete. It's a thin squad. Well, so basically, when people say it's a thin squad, basically what they're saying is we didn't do what was required in a transfer window. But instead, they're then sitting online rating it 8 out of 10. Well, it can't be both then, can it? Because it can't be an 8 out of 10, but then be a thin squad and can't compete on all fronts. Yeah, how is it? Yeah, how is it Man United can compete on all fronts? How many Man United players would you take at Arsenal? Like, so come on, if Man United can compete on all fronts, apart from the Premier League, they've fallen away, yeah, cool. But they're still in all 3 cups. They've won 1, they're still in 2 more. We're throwing at this manager has had 13 opportunities to win a trophy, plus 14 is the league, right? and he's won 1 out of 13. 3 Europa Leagues in the bin to Villarreal, Olympiacos, and Sporting. 3 League Cups in the bin. 3 out of 4 FA Cups in the bin. 3 titles in the bin. Yeah, and then we've got the title we're going for now. So, come on, man. Seriously, we moved Stadium to compete. We've won 1 trophy out of 13 available since he's been here. What are you chatting about?
Like, we should do a thing. Everyone's got a down.
I said this the other day. I said this the other day, right? If we don't win the title at the end of the season, or even if we do, if Ancelotti is available, mate, who's saying no? Oh, but you got to give him a go. Give him a go for what, mate? I remember Vicente Del Bosque winning the Champions League and getting sacked the next day. Yeah, elite level clubs don't muck about. Yeah, this guy has done very well to get us into this position. And listen, I really do hope we win it.
Yeah.
But if we do not win it, Terry, yeah, it shouldn't be, oh, let's go again. There should be an inquest to this. Yeah, because there should be. Edu, why didn't you get us the players we wanted? Yeah, Arteta, why are you doing dodgy subs? Like, come on. Like, at the end of the day, if you're 8 points clear, I don't care who the team is chasing you. If you were 8 points clear, you have to win the league, mate.
I hear you. D here says, Terry, how do you rate Tierney overall? Be honest. I rate him as very good. I think he's very good. I personally don't think he's as good as Zinchenko in terms of what Zinchenko brings to your team, but I do think Tierney's a really good fullback. I think he's a really good fullback. I think that you'll get a decent amount of money for him. I believe he's probably going to go Newcastle and he'll do very well there. So
I called that first, by the way.
Use on him.
I said it makes sense for him to go to Newcastle. They need a left back and it's close to Glasgow. And then since then, everyone's jumped on it. Media, you, everybody. See?
Debbie here says, Lee, do you think City will win the treble?
No.
Like that. Lee, will you ever return to the Emirates? Also, Terry, Old Trafford.
Well, never say never, but that country's buried, mate. Why would I go there? It's 33 degrees outside.
But I heard you're only living in Spain because you're depressed and lonely.
Yeah, that's it, mate. 100%. Super depressed, mate. I run off to Spain because I'm banned from the Emirates. Like, I've heard that one a lot. Yeah, that makes no sense either. So I got banned from the Emirates allegedly. Yeah, so I decided to run to Spain. These people, man.
It's crazy. Yeah, but, I've heard also. I'll go back to Old Trafford once the Glazers are gone. Then I'll give my money back to the football
Well,
club.
once we've got enough money to buy an executive box, mate, and rub it in everyone's faces, then yeah.
What is this outrage, Arsenal little girl, Terry?
Outrage?
The mascot thing.
Oh, okay. So basically, nobody said hello to her apart from Ben White and Saka, I think. And they're all signing the shirt. But now people are trying to spin it that when the team were coming out ready to go on the pitch, they all high-fived all of the West Ham kids that were lined up in the tunnel, right? They were standing behind like a barrier. And then Odegaard spoke to the little girl. And what? Yeah. Arsenal have actually posted the video of the dad standing there with his little girl and she's starstruck. She's like, she must have been about 6 or 7. And not one of them engaged in conversation with her. Yeah, I'm sorry. Why are you even putting that out? That's embarrassing, man. Like, whether you've engaged afterwards or before that, irrelevant. Don't be filming that. And then all you get is all the comments, oh, yeah, but they're getting ready for the game. Well, they're even more ready for the game when Odegaard's talking to her in the tunnel for about 5 seconds. Like, get in the bin, man. Don't put that crap out on social media again.
I would say, posting that video, they haven't thought it through. But I also thought there was a lot of fake outrage in the sense of it wasn't a good look, but her father had tweeted yesterday they had an amazing time. She loved it. They took care of them, had a great day. And his opinion is all I care about because do you know what it is? Arsenal have just shown a really shit moment, probably within a brilliant experience. And of course, everyone's run with it. But equally,
they've summed up modern footballers in a nutshell in that video, though. Absolutely summed up modern footballers.
I've seen one of Cities where City's players were really good. But that's what's going to happen now. Everyone's going to seek out content. Oh, my club did it better. My club did this. And I'm just like, I'm staying away from it because that's, again, I'm 37 years old with 3 kids. I ain't got time for it. It says Saliba is expected to play despite injury peak. That's just normal, bruv. Madrid were 5 points clear last year and fans were eating Carlo alive for drawing a game. Arteta gets nothing.
Exactly.
Praise. Arsenal standards are shocking.
Facts, bro. If he loses 3-0 tonight to Chelsea, he's getting sacked. That's it. He's in a Copa del Rey final. Can you imagine if Lampard gets him sacked? mate. But listen, real talk here. If they lose 3-0, they're not going to. They're going to slap Chelsea. Yeah, but if they lost 3-0 tonight, doesn't matter about the Copa del Rey final he's got him in by beating Barca 4-0 the other week. Yeah, that's it. He'll be sacked. And that is what elite clubs do. Bro, I've just said they've had 17 managers in 19 years. Yeah, and they've won 27 trophies. Bayern Munich have had 16 in 19 years and won 38 trophies. But we're supposed to sit here and get all gassed and giddy because we're top and look at where we was and nobody expected it. Well, when I got told by Peter Illwood, yeah, RIP to him, back in 04, 19 years ago, we're moving to compete with Bayern and Real Madrid, I expected it. Yeah, and you can laugh all you like, yeah? The fact of reality is I'm holding this club to the standard they told me they were moving that stadium for. Yeah, and if people don't like it, tough. Because the aim of elite sport is to win. I'll drop that one in for free. Yeah, the aim of elite sport is to win, and they smashed that stadium down to be like them two clubs. Did you see Real Madrid tweet out about Barcelona yesterday? Yeah, elite. The levels are insane.
We've got to do league on a bingo. I tell you, that's just I'm trying to get through super chats. If you finish second, you may as well be Chelsea, because in 5 years' time, no one will talk about either team. No one cares who finishes second. A says sack Arteta even if he wins it with clown emojis. I don't quite.
Yeah, well, of course you're going to say that. You've probably never seen us win a league, mate. Like, go and ask Real Madrid fans if they care if Ancelotti gets sacked tonight. No, they don't. They care about winning more.
This here says I'm annoyed as you are, Lee, but I'd love to talk. To Terry about it sometime. It's cold. There's pros and cons in football, yet you miss them when you're down. I hear you there, Neto. Lee, are you finally Arteta in? Not after these last two games.
I'm Arsenal do what they smashed the stadium down for, mate. Yeah.
With that, sorry. With
that, no. See, this is where people are so dense. Yeah, and sorry, mate. I know you've paid for that comment. Yeah, I have seen this so many times on my comment section of videos when I've said this. Oh, so if Pep don't win it, that means sack him then. Mate, Pep's won 4 leagues in 5 years. What are you chatting about? Pep's in a Champions League semi-final. Yeah, because they're going to get through. He's also in a League Cup semi-final. What are you chatting about?
FA Cup.
Yeah, he's in an FA Cup semi-final. Yeah. He's got 1 foot in a Champions League semi-final. He was in the final last year. He's won 4 leagues in 5 years. And you're chatting that, mate. The correlation is not correlating. Like, come on.
I hear you, Lee, and I know you.
How many people are they actually this dense, Terry? I fail to believe these people are that dense.
I hear what you're saying, but a little bit of fun before the end of the show, and viewers, you want your opinion on this as well. First of all, hit the like button. Getting close towards 1,000 likes to get that smashed. But start, sub, sell between Mbappe, Haaland, and Vinny Jr. Start. Sub, sell.
That's probably the hardest thing you could have. The hardest 3 you could have put
on
it. Start, sub, and sell. Start, sub, and sell. Oh man, it doesn't matter what I say. It's going to be wrong, isn't it? It's going to be wrong. Start. Oh man, you'd have to start Haaland just based on goals. He guarantees you a goal every game or more.
Do you know what I'll do? I'll do a little, I don't know how other channels do it, but we'll do a little twist. It's for your club.
Yeah, all 3 of them walk into Arsenal's team.
Yeah, but obviously you based on what you've already got at your club. So which one do you start?
Haaland's got to start just based on the pure volume of goals he scored. Yeah. He's not a very good footballer. Yeah, but he's an elite level goal scorer, and the level of goals is just a joke. So you'd have to start him. Sub, like I like Vinny Jr., but it's got to be Mbappe, and then sell Vinny. And I like Vinny. I think he's probably been the most improved footballer on the planet in the last 2 years. Yeah, because Benzema was having rows with him. The Real Madrid fans wanted him out. Yeah, and the turnaround in the last 2 years, he's actually realised that actually I'm a big boy at a big club. Yeah, and he's got it now, and he's been brilliant. But yeah, in terms of impact, after that World Cup final, Mbappe went up in my estimations a lot. So yeah, unfortunately, Vinny's getting sold. But I love him. I think he's brilliant. But it's a tough. It's
such a hard one because they're all of a world. We've got some other ones as well, right? So this is your club, but Start, sub, sell. Grealish, Mo Salah, Saka.
Well, that's a little bit unfair, Tel, to be honest with you, because Grealish plays the other side to them too.
I know, that's why it's fun.
Well, Salah's getting sold. Yeah, mate, I told you before, Welbeck Salah, mate, all day long. Although Salah played well last night, his goals were sick as well. His goals were decent. I love Grealish, man. I love him, but Starboy's starting.
You're back in
and then Grealish off the bench. Grealish, clip that. Somebody clip that. Starboy starting, Grealish off the bench, Salah bin.
Got another. This one will be an interesting one. The final one. Start, sub, sell.
Oh, start Casemiro. Sub Rodri. Sell Party. And the only reason I'm saying sell Party is because Rodri is more consistent and he's always available. He's never injured, really, is he?
Yeah.
I'd start Casemiro. He's the best of the three, mate. That ain't even debatable.
Yeah. I mean, I would have the last two. I'd have done exactly the same as you. I would start Saka, bench Grealish. No, I wouldn't. No,
clip it.
No, I wouldn't. I would start Mo Salah, bench Saka, sell Jack Grealish because I don't need Grealish on my left hand side.
You don't like Grealish anyway. You got
I don't need Grealish on my left hand side because I got Rashi.
And we got Martinelli. Martinelli scored the most goals for us all season, but Grealish is a baller, man. I don't know how you do not rate this guy.
I do rate him. I never not rated him. I just said that he wasn't doing enough for 100 million, but he now is. What he done the last month, that's what I expect. I've praised him every week for the past month. I've praised him.
He's been brilliant, man. He has been brilliant.
You know what I mean? But there we go. Listen, viewers, do us a favor and hit the like button before you leave. Lee, always a pleasure. We're back live tonight after the Champions League games. So we'll see what happens. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless.